Okay, so I have my recorder, my video capture recorder working again. I'm not sure if it'll work all the way through, but um, last Monday we talked about external references and how to use them. And I guess we didn't have enough time to really cover it or even give you guys enough individual attention. But so today I will cover it. Basically, to begin, what are external references? So external reference, or XREF, is just a fancy AutoCAD speak for a document you attach to a drawing. And when you XREF a file into your drawing, you are doing the digital equivalent of what drafters did decades ago. But you didn't know what they did decades ago, so never mind that. But basically, you can external reference several document formats into a CAD. The most common format to XREF is another DWG. Basically, you're taking another file, an external file, and then referencing that external file into your current DWG file that you're working on. To even expound on this, other files that you can actually XREF into a DWG file is a PDF. But let's start with a DWG file. So you're supposed to have a template. This is your folder, and you're supposed to have your template in there, and then you have all your plates. You always start with your template, right? So let's start with, basically we're going to create two files. We need two files to create a file that has external reference. One file is the base file, and then the other file is the other file that we're going to XREF. So let's first create a title block. We've always had this as a title block, and we created this to just plot from or print from with this 8.5 by 11 sheet. But today we're going to change it up a little bit, and we're going to start putting it in the layout page. So right now, if you notice on the bottom left corner here, you're on the model space, and if you go to the layout page, you will see that there's like a sheet in there. Basically, we're going to be placing all our drawings in here, and it's actually we're going to have to create windows that will make a view coming from the model space. So let's name this first as a title block. We're just gonna use this right as a title block, and then so we have to just remove that. And I've told you this in the previous videos that this corner here has to be at 0, 0, and you can see that the x-axis, which is the red one here, is right on it, right? And the green one here is the y-axis, which is the right on it also. So to the corner of it is the 0, 0. And to double check that, just to make sure, we can move this out of the way first, right? So just to go over placing it on the 0 coordinate, just move it M, and then use this as the base of where you're going to move it to, and then you type 0, 0, 4. 0, 0, and it's not working. So sometimes it would do that. So another way is to just create a line. Click on the line, and it's asking you to specify first point, and the first point will be 0, 0. And so you see it's set 0, 0, 0, and then just go anywhere you want to. But basically, we just want this point, right? So we can move this at the end of that line. Okay, so before I save this, I normally zoom all, or Z, and then all, or A, just A is fine, and we'll just zoom all the way to to the extents of the drawing. So now we save this as a title block. And title block 2010, save. So now this is a 2010, or it's a title block a file, and of course I misspelled it. Let's close this first and rename this into title block, the proper title block spelling. Okay. So now we open another file, which is the template. And we can also open the title block if you want to. In fact, you should open it too. So we're going to work on the template now. And we go to the layout of that template. And it'll show you a paper space. Basically, a layout is where you would lay out all your drawings that are coming from the model space. Everything that you drew in the model space, you can create a window of any part. You can create a window of any part of this model space and place it into here, and that window is called a viewport. But before we get into that, let's go to the XREF'd. Actually, sorry. Let's set up the layout sheet first. So right-click on this and go to the page setup manager, and it's a layout. So let's modify it. And the plotter will be DWG to PDF. This is so it's just gonna set it to DWG PDF all the time, and you don't have to keep changing this. And the paper is, we will go to NCA, which is 8.5 by 11. But let's do the NCA full bleed, or is it expand? Okay. Yeah, let's see, here it is. So NC full bleed, NCA full bleed. Okay, so this 8.5 by 11, and it's a full bleed. And of course, the area to plot is the layout. It's gonna plot out this whole layout, and 1:1, of course, and then monochrome plot style, and just hit OK. And close this. So now you have this clean sheet, meaning earlier we had these dash lines. We had this dash lines or dash square or rectangle anyway around here, and that's actually where the print extents will be. So anything outside of that is not going to print, but since it's gone, that means it's going to print anything that's in this paper. So let's go with the XREF. So type in XREF, and this external references panel shows up, and if you go to the top left corner, there's a attach DWG. You click on it, and it's going to ask you to select a reference file, and we're going to reference in the title block. And this is why I saved it and zoomed in to extents, and then saved it so that will create a preview of the final save, and so you can actually see what you're opening. So if you go to the template here, this is how I saved it. This one's how I saved that, and this one I didn't do what I did, or what I was supposed to do, which is zoom in, and so that's how the plate 1 looks like. And now you can't even really tell what the plate 1 is. So in any case, title block. So let's open up the title block, and it's going to ask you the scale. It's going to be 1:1, so leave that unmarked or unchecked. Insertion point. Insertion point, it's either specify on screen, but we will not specify it, because there's a reason why I have you place that title block bottom left corner on the coordinate of 0, 0, of the x and y value. So this is going to go straight to the 0, 0, and so if you hit OK, it's exactly at the 0, 0. If you just you don't have to eyeball it to like place it in there and whatnot. So if you select that, that's the external reference, right? So we're done with this, really. We should just save this now as save it as template 1, and this is where you're gonna start working on from now on. Template 1. Okay. So with the viewport, so if we're going to create a window in here, and that's called a viewport, we type in V and then port, and just hit the single because we just want one. Okay, and it'll ask you to specify a first corner of the window, and the default will create a window all the way to the extent of what's drawn on the model space. So this is actually the model space inserted into this window, and now you can modify these to just make a window on whichever you want to. And if you just want a window of this, that's fine. And we can also scale this. If you go in this corner here, scale it to 1:1, and now it's the full scale. It's the actual scale of what we drew. So so you can also make a copy of it. CO, and it's gonna do an exact replica of it, and you can just change the window for it too, and going in this. And if you double click on it, if you double click inside it, you're gonna be working on the inside of that window, and you can zoom in and out of it, right? As long as it's highlighted. And then to get out of this this mode, because you can't do anything, like you can't touch this here. Well, you did, but you can't really do much out here. So if I click anywhere here, you can't work on it. But I guess you can just click on the next window and it'll highlight it. But in any case, you can zoom in and out in here, and whatever you do here, right? Let's make a copy. Why is it locked? If you make a copy of it, right here, you notice it's also on the other window. It's doing the same thing. It's creating all these lines or making the changes. But basically, you're making the changes in the model space through this viewport. So if you go to the model space, that's what you did already. So you can get rid of this now, or you can actually keep it there so you know where the your windows are. And in fact, let's do that now. Let's just let's do this. Get rid of this. Make this. Okay. Zoom. So not zoom. We'll leave this at 1:1 paper space, or 1:1 scale, and go right into that. Go right in here, and then move it to fit right into this area. Okay. So now it's you have this window exactly of where this area is, this area, and anything we place in here will show up exactly here. And as a matter of fact, we can even get rid of these guys now. Actually, before we get rid of it, let's do this. If you look at this information, the only thing that should change is the plate number and the date for your sheets. So let's copy this. Right. Let's copy these two. Control C. And then go to the layout, and you see it's here, and put Control V, and so it's here now. And the reason why I did this, copy that too, is because I'll use that as a reference. So I'll move it now. I'll move that from this base point to that base point. So now we have two overlapping information in there, but let's name this as a plate X, and this would be your date of 9 April 2019. Okay, so you can see the date still in the back, and that's because it's X-referencing the date from your title block. So now we can go to the title block. This is title block that it was X-referencing, and let's just go ahead and remove these guys. Okay. So now it's removed, and then save it again. Save. So if you go to your template one, since you made some changes in the title block and it's X reference in here, that pop-up came out, and I got rid of it. Well, basically the pop-up came out, and if you actually click bring up the external reference pop-out panel again, it says there's a I guess there's a notation in there saying that it needs to be what? So, it needs to be refreshed, I believe. So reload. Needs reloading. So go ahead and reload it. And now it's reloaded. It's reloaded the title block, and so that plate 0 and date is gone. And now you can, this is the only things that you can change now. The section 1 you cannot change. I mean, there's a way to change it, of course, in here, but that's not the topic for today. So let's go back to the model space, and so we would start working here from now on. And you can actually just remove these guys here, because these don't have to be here, right? Delete that, delete that, and this is supposed to be to here. Okay. And now you can use this as your new template. And each time you create a drawing, let's say plate 1. Let's do plate 1. Plate 1. You can just copy this, Control copy, put 1, and paste it in here. And as long as you're within this box that you created, that we left, it's always going to stay in. You're still going to be able to print it within that area. So that's what external reference does. And just for one last demonstration, you can also XREF. Well, first of all, let's save this. Okay. Let's get rid of that. And say so we have this box, and we have this line types, and so you save it as template 1. Place it yes. Okay, so now let's just for demonstration, we can XREF something, drawing into the model space also. So let's X-reference plate 2. And so now there's the plate 2 X-referenced into this drawing. I can just move this out of the way, like so. But as you can see, when I X-reference it into this file, it went straight to the 0, and it was just perfect. let's like undo it. So that's where it was. It went straight in there, and you can see that this is how it would look like with the title block. And so that's how you do your XREF.